Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome back to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez Stahl. We are at the beginning of day 4, season 6, episode 10, and we have a newbie, which is always fun and exciting. So Jevona was recommended by Fiona Paul, who unfortunately was scheduled to join us this season, but something came up and she wasn't able to join, and so she pushed me over to to Jevona. And so it's been so far it's been a really wonderful season. I'm really excited about the conversations that we've had. It's been a lot of fun. No doubt the last day is going to be absolutely amazing as well. So no pressure, Jevona. I'm saying that to play with her because she's a little nervous. So
that's a little bit. Can you tell?
Yeah. So we're here to lighten it up. And so I'm going to ignore you guys now, and I'm just going to focus on her. So it's just going to be a conversation between me and her, and you guys are just going to be listening in the background. As always, you're welcome to raise your hand and put questions in the comment bar. But for the most part, you will notice that I'm going to be focusing a lot of my energy on her. And so it'll be interesting for you guys to notice how my attention changes when I'm focused on everybody versus this is going to be really a conversation between me and her, just to kind of give her a little bit of breathing room and comfort while she finds her feet. And so hopefully it'll be a fun conversation for you guys. And so, Jevona, I normally start by saying, introduce yourself and just kind of let us know a little bit about who you are.
Hi, I'm Jevona, and I'm here as a channel, a guide, a joy guide, a wayshower, a reiki master. As you can tell, I'm nervous, so this is my first time being on a summit, but I'm very excited to be here. I feel like I was brought here for a reason. So to share my joy with all of you, with you. Yes, I'm an employee of the universe.
Love it. Conduit of the universe.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about what channeling is to you. How does it play in your day-to-day? How do you use it with work? That kind of stuff.
I wake up every day and I just connect to Source. I feel like it's like this is our yellow brick road. So I feel like I'm on this fun adventure, and through all the things that happened in my life, my stories, my fun stories, that I could share. But I feel like I've always had this joy within me. So before I used to always just kind of, dim the light. But since my bigger awakening about 3 years ago, or maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I just became like, just no fear, just being me, shining my light. And as I keep opening up to Source, channeling, the energy, it's just, I feel like I've always had this feeling that we're supposed to be here to play and have fun, and that life is just really simple if we just choose to have fun, like little children come out to play all the time, and they don't always worry about what people are thinking. They just play and they have so much fun, and it's just like that innocence within us. So I feel like every day I'm like so excited when I wake up, and the more I have opened up to this energy of who I am and allowed myself to just be me, I feel like the world, the universe just reflects that back to me, and the magic is everywhere. Like it's like it's like being in a fairy tale. It's like I just walk this road and I go for my walks, and it's like the universe just is so beautiful. And the more I just allow this me to show up and be here and not plan my day or my future, the miracles are endless. Like the magic just around me is endless. So I'm living proof that we could be living our heaven on earth. And it's just by being in our joy. So I connect daily.
For people that are used to setting goals and planning everything, what do you mean by you're not really doing that?
So because the more I've tried to plan it, the more it's just kind of like I have a lot of knowing. And that started out when I was 16, my mom died. And I always had this knowing that there was, that they're all around us. Like, but I guess I went through like not always trusting. So when my mom died, it was almost like this, that unconditional love, that feeling of, you're safe, just all of a sudden just disappears. But I still had this faith, and I just had this feeling that, Jesus was around me and that I was supported, that I wasn't alone. I always felt like I wasn't alone. But you go through life, and it was still a trauma to me. It was still like, wait, my mom's not here. And I still went through life and everything that happened, but it was still like that knowing that they're there. And through all these different things that happened in my life, I've learned to trust, and I've learned to surrender, like totally surrender. Like when I had cancer, I learned to surrender. And when I surrendered, it was like the universe and the guides and all, like this knowing it just shows up. The more that I am in my joy, the more that I'm just allowing. It's like this, when we have a dream and we fall asleep, and it's like we go into this, non-resistant kind of energy, or you just fall asleep. And then when you wake up, it's like, oh, reality. And then, but which is really real, and I went the last couple of years, I really followed through I have these dreams of my mom, or I have these dreams of my, my loved ones that passed. And I'd have moments where some I would cry, and some I wouldn't, and I'd be happy. And I'm like, is this me connecting with them? Like they're here now. Are they here now? So as my journey kept unfolding, and I kept asking these questions, like, what is this? Like, I'm curious. I always was curious about everything. People would always ask, why you ask so many questions? But it's just like curious, like, like a kid at Christmas, you always want to like, we get some gifts today, or what do I was just curious, like about everything. Like, but then you go through life and people are like, you ask too much questions, or, I've told you what you should do. And then I'm always like, I ask the questions and they're like, you never follow. I'm like, but I'm asking just to be curious, not because I want to do what you're doing. It was just being curious of all these different things. And it would just be exciting to me. Like, why do you do that? 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 But it was just like, in the end, I would always still do what I would want. It would still be like, no, I still want to do this. And it was just kind of following that energy, or following that flow. But in all my life, I always felt like life is supposed to be fun. Can't we just play all the time? Can't be every day be like Christmas morning? Can't Santa Claus be real all the time? Like, and as I until actually mostly when I found Sarah in the council, like all through my it's like like I said, the yellow brick road. It's like we follow the yellow brick road. You meet certain characters as you go along in life, and you're like, ooh, what are you going to tell me today? Or, ooh, you know, and then you have your buddies and then you go, but we're just kind of walking our way all home, you know, the home that is here now. And it's just like, as everything unfolded, and then when I found actually the Sarah and the council, it was just like, boom. It was like, wow, I should have trusted myself all along. Like, it's like we don't always trust ourselves, but when we do trust ourselves and allow ourselves to come out to play, I'm telling you, it's the best experience ever. It's like, and it's not hard. It's like, you don't have to suffer. It doesn't have to be hard. And all your loved ones are here to play with you. All you have to do is just set an intention and focus and just allow them to come through. You know, we always go with our head, but if we can connect our head to our heart and just speak to them and talk to them daily, all day long, my family thinks I'm nuts, of course. People I know, they probably always thought I was nuts. But as I kept just being me and life unfolded, I just allowed. And the more I just allowed, I was like, the universe showed me that I wasn't alone and that, okay, fine, I could just be friends with the birds and the flowers and the trees and whoever wants to come and play with me. And the more I open up, the more I find masters like you to come play with.
And so question is, are you asking questions of yourself, of your guides? And if so, how are you doing that?
Questions are, they're amazing. So when I ask, I'm asking just to the energy, to me, because I've come to realization that everybody's a mirror reflection of you. So when you start realizing that, you know, I like this instead, or like this instead, then you start setting more intentions of like, oh, this is how I want it to be. This is who I want to play with. This is the energy I want to play in. So it's like, you're not leaving others behind. You're just elevating your consciousness to this play energy, to this joy energy. And they show up, your team, your guides, you know, Jesus, whoever you resonate with. It doesn't have to be anybody particular. Just get rid of the limits or get rid of who you think it should be and just allow your soul to come out to play. It's really I journaled a lot back in 2020. And as I was journaling and kept journaling, you know, this stuff would come through and I was like, is this me? Is this me? And I'm like, who is this? You know, and then I felt like I would start channeling like my brother's friend who had died like 6 years ago. And I felt like he was coming through. And then I'd be like, because I've known, you know, Abraham Hicks for so long. And it was until like when I had my cancer 5 years ago that I was on that journey of just this fun journey of like, wow, this energy of fun. And so when I started journaling and when I brought him through, I was like, are you Gordon? Are you my Abraham? Are you my Abraham? It's like being vulnerable, like being open and vulnerable to who you are. It's like I always went through my life, a lot of my life, looking out to like for answers. You know, the curiosity that I had, I would be like, you know, I need to learn this. 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 And then when I had the cancer, it was almost like you know, oh, we need to tend to me. We need to tend to me. What's happening in my body? And it was like my body, cancer to me was like, was my gift. I'm so grateful, like, for that I had cancer because it was my gift to allow me to love myself more, because I'm always like giving, you know, always wanting to give. I was always, you know, I want to give this, people pleaser, do this. And you always want to give to others. But it's when we start giving to ourselves, like when we wake up in the morning, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, I just connect to my higher self. You know, move me, my mind, my heart, my soul, my feet in the direction of my higher self. I just want to get to that high vibration as soon as I can, because I've been in the energies of shame and guilt and, anxiety and stuff like that. But it's not a fun energy. Like, come on, it's not a fun energy to be in. Nobody wants to be in that energy. Like, if you have a choice between to be unhappy or happy, what would you rather be? Happy, right? Like, it's kind of a no-brainer, like we are here, like that song. So cute. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Right? We're here for a good time, not a long time. Have a good
Yeah, I
the
don't know
sun
the
will
song.
shine. No, you don't know?
No.
Okay. But
So
it's
I'm
just
sure I'm
like
sure I'm sure members in the peanut gallery are able to recognize the song. I'm not.
oh,
No offense to the peanut gallery. Again, I'm just trying to lighten her a little bit and keeping you guys in the background.
right.
So okay. My little 2 cents
Okay.
about asking yourself or asking guides and how does one do that. A lot of the recommendations that people give is the power of journaling, of asking questions in writing. It's an easy way for your team to communicate to you and through you.
Mhm.
Some people will even have the experience where their hand will start moving on its own. I've never had that experience. Don't necessarily expect it, but if it happens, allow it, and just know that this is sometimes your ability to receive and to allow, and it's a great gift to have that ability to allow them to communicate through your body in such a visceral way. But just asking the question, what does my higher self want me to know today? What does my spirit team want me to know today? And you can be more specific with your questions and just write down what comes to mind. No corrections and judgment, and literally just whatever comes to mind, just write it down, almost like you're dictating. You're a stenographer, and you're just writing down the thoughts that are popping in your head. What I experience is a knowing, and then I translate that knowing into language consciously. And for me, it's still a process of discernment, of trying to identify and keep my own head out of it and to be as clean in the translation of the knowing into language. But some people will hear a voice, some people will have a very clear thought of what it is that wants to be said, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more you connect and allow yourself the invitation to have this level of communication with your team, the easier it becomes. So oftentimes the first step is, I want this. Just a simple, clean, direct desire. I want this or something better. I want to be able to communicate with my team more effectively, or something better. And so that's one of the easiest ways to start to kind of get that connection. And I think it's an appropriate time to talk about our different ways in which we receive messages, because it isn't just a voice or an image or a knowing. It's also a bird that flies by your window at just the right time, and you're like, oh, I was just thinking about this and a bird just flew by. And so you start to connect the interrelationship between your inner experience and your outer experience, because the outer experience in many ways will highlight things for you to identify and recognize a deeper connection within yourself. And Jevona mentioned the idea of going home, that we're on a path going home. And I've heard some people talk about, this path of going home is our life in between lives, this home of where we come from when we're not in human form. And that's not the kind of home that I believe Jevona is speaking about. The home that I think she's talking about is within ourselves is home. We're never far from who we are, and we're never far away from home, because we can't be. We are our home is within ourselves. And so it's about that inner journey, about that going within in order to connect with the things that are happening in our lives. Question here for you. Do you call upon past memories or happiness and joy to get yourself into this frequency? Is a memory a catalyst for you?
Yes, of course. Yes, I do. Lots of memories. I mean, it is all part of you. Like, it's loving all of you, like the shadow, the darkness, everything. You know, when I had cancer, it was like loving all of me. Even when I came to realization, you know, the year before, because I usually am pretty like happy all the time. I was always pretty usually happy all the time, but a lot of times, you know, everybody wants you to dim your light because, oh, I'm just too bright, or I shouldn't say that, or I shouldn't do that, because we're all supposed to fit in a box. But I'm not like everybody else, and everybody is not like everybody else. But it's like when you don't. So think of it like with your body. I notice with the cancer, like going back to the good memories, right? Because they are your good memories. Why not? Why not go back to the good memories? It's just don't replay the bad ones. You got a choice to play the good ones or bad ones. You know, good stories makes you feel good. Bad stories doesn't make you feel good. What would you choose? And then when it's like we manifest all the time, you know, and the minute we think of something, we manifest it. It's like having a magic wand with you all the time. It's like, what do I want to create in this moment? Because they show up, you know, when you focus on something like Sarah says, and the reality you create shows up, you know, the meaning you give it. And it's so true. You know, if like say someone had an accident, you know, 10 years ago and they had this pain in their body, if you're continually thinking of this accident, your body keeps feeling this pain or this accident, this trauma. But it's like every day, if you get up and you create a new story, what do you want to be today? I want to be this bright, beautiful star that's walking around, and I'm going to shine my light, and I go walk on my yellow brick road, and I'm going to, you know, sing to the pretty flowers, and I'm going to, you know, create my magic, whatever in front of you. Like, you know, even like for say the next day or a week, if you're nervous about something, like I am today, I visualize it like, oh, it's going to be so wonderful. We're going to have such a great time, and everybody around is going to have such a great time. And it's just, and when I have visualized myself, you know, what I want to happen, you know, obviously allowing still universe to still play with me, you know, it shows up usually pretty good or even better, this or better, right? That's that allowing of each moment. And then each moment, it's like, you know, when you're happy in the moment, not like when I get this thing, I'm going to be happy. It's like being happy now, and it shows up. And the energy is, you know, it's feeling the energy. Like Fiona, she always talks about the tingles in her body. Well, I get the tingles all the time. And I feel like it feels so good. Like they're always here with me. And it's just tuning in. We always don't think we have time to tune into our soul. But that is like, if you could leave with anything today, like loving yourself and tuning into your soul, it's free. It's free to do this, to just wake up and tune into your soul, you know, journaling and connecting to this energy. You know, at first you might not feel it, but as you continually on each and every day connecting to this your soul and asking those powerful questions, who am I? Who am I? Watch out. Life will come. Life will, you know, hold on, because life will be so much fun if you just allow it to be fun. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Kelly, feel free to ask a follow-up, or if there's anything else you wanna go into that. My little bit on this is, a lot of times we have the idea that we need to change our thinking. And we have free will, and we can choose to pay attention to different things. And there's a difference between denying a bad thought versus just not giving a bad thought attention. There's a big difference between that. And one of the beauties, and Abraham Hicks talked about this in a recording that I heard not too long ago, one of the beautiful things about waking up is that we wake up with a clean slate. And at any point in time, we can have a clean slate. So, but logistically, when we wake up with a clean slate. There was a story of a man from one of the people that I listened to when I was really invested in the three principles a number of years ago, of a man who was really suffering depression and a lot of challenges mentally. And he was working with the person that I was listening to, one of the teachers of the principles. And you know, the teacher said to him, just out of curiosity, you know, do you have any happy thoughts in the day? He's like, oh, I never have any happy thoughts. It's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, oh, I wake up and then I start to think about all the things that I've done wrong and all the things that I don't deserve in my life because I'm a bad person. and, and the teacher just kind of looked at him and said, so just for giggles, next time you wake up, don't do that. Yeah. And it sounds so simple, but sometimes it is. So yes, we can consciously, you know, if we're having a hard time connecting with the happiness within us, we can use our memories as a way in. You know, you can allow your mind to settle and take some breaths. Take 3 conscious breaths, just to become present in the moment. Allow your mind to settle, and you will naturally tap into that peace within you. And from there, it's easier to connect with our happiness and our joy. So hopefully that's helpful, Kelly. So follow up to the earlier question about asking questions. I have thoughts while listening to music, and the lyrics of the song will exactly match what I was thinking or almost be like a response. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Love that. And then love the inner outer world responding to one another. Yeah, it's really nice when you start to have eyes and ears and awareness to look for the synchronicities of the relationship between the inner world and the outer world. It's a lot of fun to play with that. And again, the more conscious you become of it, the more you will see things. You know, I regularly talk about how I'm driving my car down a road and birds will cross in front of my car, and I will thank them because they're saying hi. Why did they choose to cross the road when I was there? Why didn't they cross it after I passed that spot? Why didn't they cross it before I even got to that scene? It's like, why were they choosing that moment to cross the road? And so my mom and I have this little game where, you know, we're looking for the birds to come and say hello. So Shannon says, sometimes we need to look at our relationship to the feeling of joy and happiness or the feeling of the word meaning. Sometimes we need to look at our relationship to the feeling of joy. Oh, got it. So sometimes we need to look at our own relationship to what it feels like to be in joy or happiness. And sometimes we need to look at the feeling that's associated with the meaning of the word itself. And so, yeah, so that's a nice reflection and introspection, curiosity, questioning of life that one can do. Thank you, Shannon. Yeah. Jevona, where would you like to go next?
I was going to ask you about your blanket, your husky.
My blanket?
Yeah.
My wolves?
Yeah, your wolves. Is that something you love?
When I was learning to channel, well, let me back up. Wolves have been in my life since I was a child. I've been fascinated by them. I've felt an affinity towards them. Well before it became a fad to have wolf as your spirit animal in in the New Age world where everything was a wolf. So wolves have been a big influence in my life since I was very young. And when I started channeling, Jamie Butler was the most influential person in my journey of learning to channel. I took a course with her and loved it. And she taught us about the idea of having guardians and gatekeepers. And she talked about how a lot of times these are our loved ones that have transitioned or our spirit guides. And when we did a little meditation to ask the question, who are my guardians, a male and female wolf appeared.
Mm.
And then when I asked who was a gatekeeper, I had an image of a gargoyle statue that I had when I was younger that was on a pedestal, perched on this little box was a gargoyle. And so I had that image come up. And that image stayed with me for a long time. And then eventually I realized that it was just a facade that a dragon was using to let me know that my guardian is a dragon. And so the green guy is the dragon behind me. That's my guardian.
Nice.
And he's called Perch. And then the butterfly came not too long ago, again during a meditation, a guided meditation with Sarah Landon, actually, where the butterfly came to assist me in my transition into who I'm becoming. And so I bought a butterfly to represent that. And so the dragon and butterfly work together and play together, and that's why they're always touching. And I've got my guardians, and I also have a little stone dragon in front of me on my desk, which is also representing my guardian. So yeah.
So you let your inner child play all the time.
I wouldn't put it in those words, but I guess. You know, I'm a fairly serious person, and I don't really play a lot.
I can tell. No, I'm just kidding.
But I know, right? But I'm always open to call it playing with energies and with spirit. Playing with the gemstones. I've got more than 50 different gemstones in front of me on my desk that I pick up during a conversation. I've talked about that in other episodes. You know, I have a crystal of Gaia, glass Gaia. So I play with the energies that I want to play with. You know, the other day I wanted to change my relationship with money, and so I bought a silver coin with a tree of life. And there's God written in Hebrew underneath. The back is kind of meaningless, but the front is the tree of life, and it's a silver coin. And so this is my connecting with that energy in a loving way. And so I'll be prompted to pick up all of my divine playmates in conversation. And it's always interesting who calls my attention. And sometimes I pick up a stone without even realizing it. And so I play with this. I play with this all the time. Now,
so do you walk down your yellow brick road?
Do I walk down my yellow brick road?
Do you like smile at the trees and the squirrels and walk down the street?
I don't, but what I do is I do have a lot of gratitude for the things that I experience. Like I say, the birds that come into my life when I'm driving, there's a lot of gratitude and appreciation for them when they come to say hello, or the birds that come to hang out in the bushes outside of my window. So I'm in front of a building, and the complex that I'm in was nice enough to actually put bushes in front of the window so that at least half of the window is a bush.
Nice.
And what's really amazing, I talked about this last season, what's really amazing is I have so much gratitude for these amazing little bushes that I call the forest, because there's a whole world that happens underneath a bush that people aren't even aware of. All of the interactions of the birds that happen on the inside of the leaves, it's amazing. And they'll fly through the bushes like, full speed. And it's just like, how do you not hit a branch? It's absolutely amazing to just look at, the whole world that happens inside this small little ecosystem. It's astonishing. Absolutely astonishing.
They're always here to play.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily smile at them, but I do have a lot of gratitude and appreciation for them. So
I know when you say about in your car, I usually like to, I always invite them to come play too, like, because we have the free will. So, and they're always wanting to play. So you have to kind of invite them in. So if I'm driving and a song will come on, and I was driving once somewhere, and I think it was like in Seattle. I'm not from Seattle, but there's like 6 lanes. And all of a sudden this song comes on, like, I just called to say I love you, that song. And so I'm like, dancing along. But then I'm like looking around and I'm like, okay, there's like 6 rows of like traffic. I'm like, maybe I should stop doing that. And then all of a sudden I come around to this other road that had not many people on there. And so I'm like, okay, it's time to dance. I'm like, I invite you guys to all come dance with me. And all of a sudden I turn on the music, and then all of a sudden that song came back on again. It was like, I just called to say I love you. And so I was just, and then I had the tingles in the back of my, like, tingles everywhere. And I'm just like, they're here, they're here. So it's like that responding of like, come play. And they're like, yes, we'll come play. And then if you allow this energy to play with, right? It's fun.
you remind me of something that happened to me not too long ago. I was in conversation with Christie's channel, the Boo Suite that we were introduced to yesterday. And I mentioned a time when I was listening to another channel and I heard a message and I knew that that message was for me. And that what was shared wasn't even aligned with the question that was asked, which was really funny for me. It's like, it's not even part, it didn't even align with the question. And so, I just knew that it was for me. And the Boo Suite asked me, how did you know that it was for you? And I thought that was a really interesting question because I'd never thought about it. And I sat with it. And what I came up with is the message is embedded with your frequency so that your soul recognizes it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're listening to a song on the radio and there's a lyric that stands out to you for some reason as an answer to a question that you asked, or as a direction for the things that you're playing with, or just as a fun, we're here, there's a vibrational signature associated with that message so that you hear it, so that you recognize it. And so I thought that was really a cool way to answer that. And again, I don't know if this is accurate because this is what I came up with.
Yeah.
But it feels right and it feels possible. So because I have a friend of mine who, again, at the same time was saying, oh, hundreds of thousands of people are listening to the song on the radio. How can there be a message for me? And I didn't really have an answer for her. And then like a week later, I had this conversation with the Boo Suite and I was like, oh, I've got the answer. And so, to iPhone, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but to your earlier question, I get messages through my knowing. So my team communicates to me through my knowing. Like I said earlier, I don't really have voices in my head. I don't see my team around me. I get messages that I'm learning more and more to recognize that are coming from something outside of my human hard drive. And so
it's just that realization and trusting. It's like, it's really so simple if we really want it to be simple. Like, do you want joy or do you want not to be miserable? Do you want to go with the story that you keep playing for the day and last day and whatever? I started doing like putting reminders in my phone like every 3 hours, and it would go off and I'd write gratitude, breathe, love, gratitude, so that like it's not going to happen overnight. It's just devoting yourself to you, you know, loving you. All the time that you spend on everybody else and giving to everybody else, spend like even just a little bit of that time on yourself. And if you continually do it each day, the results are amazing. Like you will feel like it's Christmas morning every day. Like I'm living example that joy is possible, and that you could just play and not worry about what everybody thinks, you know, and just connecting to who you are and that energy. You know, it's not, you know, like a genie and like a lamp and a genie comes out, you know, it's not, it's subtle, you know, it's like, but you will know, you know, and no one else will know what you will know, because no one is you. Everybody is individual. It's taking the time to find out who you are, and asking those questions. Like when you ask a question, be prepared that they will show up and they'll show you. Like even just like when I was driving, like, you know, like come join me, or, you know, come brush the hair with me, or come do this with me, or let's go for a walk, you know, and then certain things will show up. You know, you might even see something like a blue heron, or you might see like, you know, like the red cardinal, which to me is like my mother coming. So it has a meaning for you, it has a meaning for me, you know, whoever else is watching. Like these are all just little signs. They don't have to be huge. It's just acknowledging them when they do show up. Like, oh, you know, and when I go for walks, I even try to channel like, okay, the tree, what does the tree want me to know? You know, what does the water want me to know today? And it's like writing love letters to yourself, you know, hey, beautiful, you know, glad you're here today. And all of a sudden it raises your vibration, you know, and then being in that joy vibration, they all want to play with you and they come to play, you know, like, you know, there's so much love here, and there's so much magic here, and we're all love, you know, we all are all magic, you know, we're human beings, we're physical, well, we're spiritual beings in a human experience, coming to play and have fun, you know, celebrate it. You're here, you're alive, have fun.
There's a it's really easy for us to get up in our head about, well, I'm asking the tree questions and I'm not hearing an answer. A lot of it is taking the time and listening in different ways, and not to have the expectation. You know, it's and start you can start with things that are really simple. Like one of the things that I do is, if a tree kind of, I used to walk around my sister's neighborhood when I lived in her house, and I would walk around her neighborhood, and all of a sudden a tree would catch my attention, and I would approach the tree and I would just sit in front of it and I would say, is it okay if I put my hand and share energy with you? And I would feel my body move forward for yes, or my body move backwards for no. And it wasn't always a yes. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for catching my attention. And, you know, I gave it love and appreciation for whatever, you know, that interaction was. And it's also really easy for us to play with, am I making this up, or I'm just making this up? This isn't real. You know, the gemstones, I talked about this the other day in another episode. I was going into a spirit journey with someone. I was going to facilitate one, and I'd be walking by where I had a few stones just hanging out, and I would get the thought, oh, I should pick up the amethyst, and I should pick up the quartz, or I should pick up the labradorite, or I should pick up the tiger eye. And I've just for fun, I was like, okay, you know, I'll grab these and I'll bring them into the conversation. I don't feel the shift in energy in them. So again, some people do, right? Some people, this is pyrite. And for me, pyrite is a lot about abundance. And so some people will pick up pyrite and they will feel physically, they will feel the energy of the stone. And then they will pick up, you know, selenite. And I like heart shapes. So a lot of my gemstones are either in raw form or they're in heart shape. Not all of them, but anyway. So selenite, again, Some people will feel the difference in energy. I haven't gotten there yet in my own journey to be able to feel the physical difference of their energy. But I've learned to trust that my ideas of which stone wants to be picked up isn't my imagination. And like people talk about all the time, imagination and intuition are playing in the same space. It's the same energy. And so our imagination comes, sorry, our spiritual intuition comes through our imagination. And so it's really easy for the human to dismiss it as, oh, I'm just making it up because it's in my imagination. And the more that we start to pay attention to this, again, it's about recognizing the subtlety in the energy, the subtlety in our experience, the subtlety in our awareness. And the more we start to have an eye and an ear and a sense for it, the more we'll recognize it and the more we'll trust it. And then little by little, that communication becomes easier and easier to the point where my plant that's next to me tells me when it wants me to feed her. You know, she tells me when she wants water. So I don't pay any attention to, I need to water her every 4 days, or I don't put a little thing in the dirt to see how the dirt is. I just wait for her to tell me I need water.
And
so
I tell my plants, I love you. Oh, are you beautiful today? Oh, you look so big today.
I pet it. I caress my plant.
I do. I did mine this morning too.
So
yeah.
I caress her leaves. So again, these are just different things to kind of play with in order to kind of wake up to the communication with your team and with your higher self and with all of the energies that are around, you know, here playing with you already.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much. The other day I was talking to someone that I will never know the level of assistance that my stones and my plant do for me and my work. I will never know the level of support that they're giving me. To be honest with you, you know, maybe when I transition to the other world, I'll have more awareness of that. But within my human form, I will never really appreciate all of the work that they do with me and for me. And so the other day I was talking about transmutation, and I ended up learning that one of the things that I'm here to do on Earth is to help transmute energy. So I ended up buying a really large amethyst sphere, which when I want to focus on transmutation, I pick up.
It looks like a magic 8-ball.
Yeah, right. And so I bought this is, you know, amethyst is a beautiful stone that it's incredible at balance. It's an incredible stone for helping find and regulate and inspire balance. And it's purple, and purple is violet is the color that is used a lot and associated a lot with transmutation. And the person I was talking to said, oh, and you're violet. And I'm like, what do you mean my violet? She's like, you're violet, you're plant, you idiot. I was like, oh, I never thought of that. So the violet is violet flame. And, you know, so again, you know, no surprise that this plant is doing a lot more for all of us than I even realize. And so we can start to play with all of this. And, you know, I'm not an inner child kind of person, but I do play with all of this. For me, it's play. I'm playing with spirit. You know, the name of my membership is Playing with Spirit. You know, we engage and play with spirit all the time if we allow them and we open up the doors for them to play with us. You know, my sister the other day was talking about how, my sister the other day was talking about how, you know, she gets really concerned driving now that she has to go to the office more regularly. And I said, you know, ask your team to come and drive with you. She was like, they'll do that. And I was like, of course, they're already doing it. But by you inviting them, it gives them more ability to assist. It gives them more invitation for them to actually, you know, be involved. You know, the other day I was almost in a car accident, and I know that my team made it possible for that not to happen.
Like, so it's opening up, and then you see things like, you know, faces in the clouds, faces in the trees, and then before I'm like, no, like, because I do mediumship too, but it's like, it's not like just this person standing in front of me, but it's just like these faces, and I'm like, now I see them everywhere. It's like in the trees, the clouds. And so I'm like driving and I'm like, if only everybody could just be in my world right now. And I'm like, this is my reality I'm choosing. And it's so much fun. And yeah, I trust me, I have people say, oh, come back to this reality. But
So Shannon shares, driving is a great time to connect to your teams and have conversations, and they will often respond in what is in the driver's eye view or through the radio, through music. And so, again, the more that you start to open up to this, the more you're going to start to see. And I'll give you an example. Speaking of dragons. So for those of you that have been to my website, my personal website, not the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, you'll notice that I have an image of a lake in Guatemala, Lago de Atitlan, which is also behind me in a couple pictures. And it's an image that I took years ago. And I've been using that image for a lot of my work since I took it, because it's one of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken. And I ended up blowing it up when we moved into this apartment. I wanted to have it on my wall, so I ended up having it enlarged and mounted on wood, and so I put it up on the wall, and I'm sitting on my bed because I've got it right in front of me here. I'm sitting on my bed looking at it, and I went, holy shit, there's a dragon in that, and I'd never seen it before. And so let me show you guys, those of you that are in the video. Virtual background. So just up here, you can see the geometric shape of the dragon head.
Oh, yes.
Then there's the neck that leads into the body, the torso, that then goes out and thins out, and you can see the tail wrap just down here. This is one of his wings. This is the edge of his wing, the bones in his wing. And then this is the edge of his other wing. And it's so clear. I mean, I could literally draw it out and superimpose it and say, this is a full dragon. It's head to toe, head to tail. It's a dragon in the clouds. And this color, by the way, is the evening color. This isn't a filter. This is actually what it turned into.
I see like a almost like, I don't know, is it like a face of a animal, like a wolf? There's like two eyes. I wish I could see a finger, but
What do you see?
I do. I see like a wolf. I see like, yeah.
My mom sees an angel. I showed it to her and I was like, what do you see? And she's like, I see an angel. I'm like, how can you see an angel? But anyway, so she sees an angel, and I showed her the dragon. She's like, yeah, I can sort of make that out. But when she sees it, she sees an angel really clearly. And I don't even know where she sees the angel. But anyway, so the more that we start to open up, the world kind of opens up to us. And I genuinely don't feel any surprise. You know, the day that I took these pictures was a magical evening. It was an incredible evening. And I've never seen the sky like that, ever. Anywhere in the world, in any of my travels. That rich indigo blue. This, you can see the darkness in the background here. This indigo blue is the sunset. That's the actual sunset. When have you ever seen a sunset that's blue? I mean, it's it blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. This is this you can see the white light in the back here. This is the sun going down behind the horizon. It's an indigo blue sunset. It was just like, oh my God. And so, no surprise, I start connecting with spirit, and I look at this image and I'm like, oh, there's a dragon in the image that I had never seen in the years that I've been looking at this picture. And so, just as an FYI, Shannon is sharing something else. Just as an FYI, the radio stations, the DJs no longer actually choose what is going to play at every interval. They have a track. They have to track the timing for their interactions, promos, and ads. Playlists are created by the computers, much easier for spirit to play with and send songs of messages. Yeah.
That's nice.
So anyway, let's get rid of that. Anyway, a little
I
distracting conversation.
yeah, but I feel like your inner child's coming out to play right now.
Yeah,
You're not so serious.
yeah. It's I wouldn't really call it my inner child, but call
Okay.
it whatever you want.
Yes, everybody has a different name, just like
Call it
source,
whatever you
God,
want.
whatever. You can call that whatever you want too. It's just energy, right?
So, anywho, so I'm aware of the time.
Okay.
Would you like to channel?
I can channel. You want me to
Yeah.
channel?
Would that be all right? Does this feel like a good time to bring in your team?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I take you on like a meditation kind of channel?
Up to you. Up to you,
Okay.
whatever it is that you want to do and what your team wants to do through you.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, beautiful souls. So nice to be with you here today, to play with you, to really allow this joy to flow through you. You're exactly where you need to be right here and now. I invite you to go from your head to your heart and expand your heart. Connect yourself to the earth, flowing this energy from the earth all the way up your feet, all the way up your legs, to your root, to your sacral, to your solar, all the way up your heart, your throat, third eye, and out your crown. Expanding your heart all the way out your arms and your fingertips. We're going to connect to everything and everyone. This bright, beautiful soul that you are. Really allow this part of you to shine. Really allow this part of you to be who you're meant to be right here, right now. Allow this light to flow through you, this joy. It's so fun to play. We want you to know how loved you are. And it's time to surrender to this beautiful soul, this beautiful light that you are. Really allow us to come play with you. It's time. It's time to realize who you truly are, this beautiful light. Let's go on a nice, beautiful adventure. Let's create this new path of yours. Time to play. Really step into this new version of you right here, right now. Activate this joy within you. Allow yourself to just play. You're allowed to play. Really feel this energy flowing through you. Trust this energy, this innocence, the innocence that's you. Really allow, just love you and allow us to play with you. We have these wings here. Place them on. Place any wings that you want on you. Allow them to expand, just like your heart. Oh, and here's a crown for you. It's time to play. Oh, and don't forget your wand. There's all these beautiful doors in front of you. Which one do you want to choose? You create. This is your heaven. This is your heaven on earth, right here, right now. This is you coming to play. This is you allowing your innocence to come play. Which door do you choose? Oh, be confident. Allow yourself to just step in through this door. And here's this beautiful world right here, right now, with all your loved ones here to play with you. Everyone that you've ever wanted to play is here right now. The animals, your playmates, your angels, your guides, we're all here with you. Isn't it just so beautiful? Can't you just feel this peace within you? This love flowing as you connect to this part of you that is connected to everyone and everything. Everyone is here with you now. They're here to tell you something that you've wanted to hear, something that you've wanted to feel. Really trust what's coming through you right here and now. In this moment, you've allowed yourself to surrender to this beautiful light and love that you are, in this beautiful world of heaven on earth. We allow you to just surrender to this peace, this stillness, this joy. You are joy. You are love. You're this beautiful light shining to everyone around you. You're exactly where you need to be right now. There's nothing that you need. You have everything you need. Just trust yourself. I'm here to remind you of just how loved you are, just how pure you are. Really breathe in to your heart, expanding your heart to everyone around you. This beautiful message here today that you're so worthy. You're so free. You're so free to be you, to allow this beautiful soul that you are to be exactly who you want to be. Follow this light, follow the energy, follow that inner desire that's calling out to you, that calls to you every day. Just allow to come in, to flow through you, and trust this version of you expanding, receiving, allowing. Allow this love to flow through you. You are so beautiful. You're so free. You're everything you need to be right here, right now. You're so abundant. You're so colorful. You're so sparkly. Allow the bright, beautiful star that you are to just be you. Just be all of you. Love all of you, all parts of you. It's perfect. If there's anything here that's coming through right now, just allow it. Just allow your loved ones to give you the message that you need to hear right now. Feel into the stillness. We are here with you always. Come back to us always. We're just a breath away. We love you so, so much. We love you exactly the way you are. Just feel this innocence within you. You are so worthy. You are so free. Trust. Allow yourself to be. This is a new adventure. Right here, right now. Claim this adventure of you playing with all your joy. Allow the magic to unfold. Allow us to present ourselves to you. Ask whatever you need. Just allow us to flow through you. There's so much love here for you. And I'm just here to remind you just how beautiful you are. Now, if you feel complete with all that you've heard in this moment from all your loved ones, from all this energy, put your hand on your heart and just love yourself right here and right now. You are pure love. You are pure source. You're pure magic. Allow this truth to unfold. We love you so much. And we want you to know that it is safe for you to be as big as you need to be, to dream as big as you need to dream, and just play in this heaven on earth. It's here for you now. Allow it. Allow yourself to be free. Breathe into this energy of you. We love you so, so much. Thank you for allowing us to play with you today. You are ready to expand even more into who you are. I give you permission. I allow you to give yourself permission to be the beautiful light that you are. I love you. We love you. And with that, we are complete.
Thank you for that.
Oh, it's 11:11 on my time. I think that's the first time I challenged in front of 20 people, 23 people.
Hundreds and thousands of people. It's really funny because, like I said, it's just a conversation between you and I. And then you kind of look at, this is going to be heard by people and seen by people. It's going to go on YouTube. It'll be live forever. It's going to go into a podcast. And then you can kind of, think about how your little words are going to help so many people find the truth of who they are, even by a little bit. And so it's really humbling. It's really humbling, and it's amazing, and it's an honor to be part of these kinds of events and these kinds of things. And so thank you for your willingness to play and come and share, you know, who you are and what you do. I remember the first time that I did the virtual summit, I wasn't gonna be a presenter. I was just gonna be a host. I'm barely channeled. And one of the people that I was introduced to, who still hasn't been able to join us, and I keep on reaching out to her every season, but she and I were having a wonderful conversation, and she said, "You've got to be a host. I'm sorry, you got to be a speaker." And I was like, "But I don't channel." She's like, "Yeah, you do." I was like, "But," and she's like, "No, but just you need to be a speaker." And so I was a speaker on season 1, even though that wasn't my intention. So I can relate. I can relate. So, any questions or comments from anybody in the background? That's really not in the background now that I'm relaxed and more comfortable.
My energy feels like dancing. That's what I really love to do mostly, but
you know, something that you said, okay, so again, going back to something you said earlier, okay, as long as the quality of your driving doesn't get impacted, dance while you're driving. I do it all the time. I do it all the time, and I don't care if people are seeing me. I can give a shit less. It's like, you know, it's, you know, enjoy it, you know. So
yeah.
That was a gorgeous channel, so relaxing, peaceful, and powerful. Really enjoyable conversation today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When is the right time to step out of comfort zone? Spirit will keep putting the opportunities in front of you until you finally say yes.
Like this one today, this opportunity was like a week ago. It was like, "Do you want to go on a summit?" And I was like,
so like, this is something that I've been kind of challenging a little bit. A lot of people talk about how spirit will challenge us. I don't want to have that relationship with my team. So my team doesn't challenge me. My higher self challenges me all the time, but my team isn't there to challenge me. Like, they don't put tests in front of me to see how I'm doing. My higher self does. And so again, the relationship that you want to have with your team and how you want to engage with them, how you want to work with them, how you want them to work with you, it's all up for grabs, and it's all up for you to decide how you want that relationship to play out in your experience. And so my team doesn't test me and challenge me. They're always there supporting me and guiding me and assisting me along the way. The challenges that I get come from my higher self, who is part of my spirit team, but there's a different association in my head.
Like I feel like I get that push, you know, like lately, like, because I do say, you know, please use me, you know, like I want to share my gifts. I want to, and I'm pretty like, you know, you meet me on the street and I'm pretty like, wah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely not shy. I might be a little more shy on here in the summit, but I'm definitely not shy, and I'm just out there. But it's just like when I'm like, okay, I'm ready. But it's like that push. It's like, really, you're ready? Okay, here you go. Like, go fly. And I'm like, really? Like, so, like, oh, can I take a step back, please? Like,
and you can do that too. You know, someone else, and I forget who it was that said this, is, you know, when you step into something in your expansion into the truth of who you are, you can always slow it down a bit and say, I'm not quite ready for that yet. Let's take it baby steps. And so you can always slow it down or dim the light a little bit. But like we were talking about the other day, once you know something, you can't unknow it.
yes.
Once you step into the truth of who you are, that much more, you can't go backwards. You can't unknow what you've known about who you are.
Well, I'm definitely glad I came on here. I'm glad I got that push.
Yeah. So Shannon says, I flip them off with a lot of laughter and we have a fun time of challenging each other. Very nice meditation. You are doing wonderful sharing about your journey with your abilities.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
And so for what it's worth, I always like bringing people into these conversations that have different levels of experience in learning and doing and all of this stuff, because again, part of what I want this conversation to be is to help awaken people to step into the truth of who they are a little bit more, and everybody's in different stages of their journey. And so it's a breath of fresh air, as they say, to bring somebody in who's a little shy and nervous and like, this isn't, I haven't been doing this for 30 years and, have, had hundreds of thousands of conversations in public. And so it's really nice. And so give yourself a lot of credit, and there's a lot of value that you bring to the conversation. So thank you.
Yay. I kind of it's just showing up. I'm noticing just showing up. And then the nerves, I'm like taking it as excitement. So even before we started today, I was like, what can I do with these nerves? I'm like, oh, I know. And I threw on some music and I was just dancing to some music. I'm like, okay, that's good. And it worked, like excited.
Yeah. So, okay. What else would you like to share?
I like to share. Well, when you're talking about, I go by signs too. So when you showed your little heart stones, I don't necessarily know what each stone is, but I'm like, oh, the hearts are my signs. And then you're talking about would you say your googly, whatever, your statue?
The gargoyle?
Yes. So my daughter has one of those. Like she has one, and when I see her, like in her room, and it's just like this thing sticking out, and so it's kind of cool. And then your wolf on your bed, and I could share that experience about somebody. My daughter's dog was a German Shepherd Husky, and he had just passed like a month ago. But when I would go visit him like a year ago, because they were living like 24 hours away. And I would do Reiki on him because he was only 6, and he had cancer. And so eventually, I did a lot of Reiki on him and healing on him. And we had this connection. Like I was never really a big dog lover. I have a small dog. I love small dogs. But the last 3 years or 4 years traveling there and staying there, I'd stay there for a while. And then we bonded. And so we had this connection. And so he, about a month ago, had passed, and I wanted to be there, but he just was ready to go. And so then we FaceTimed, and I said goodbye. And they're, of course, going to McDonald's to get him a sundae before, because that's what he liked. And so it was my daughter, her husband, and my grandson, who's like a year and a half. And I still wanted to be there, but anyways, I was home and I said goodbye. And then I knew what time he was going to be transitioning and then being at the vet. And I knew like my daughter was going to be so brokenhearted, because it's, that was her, besides her husband and child, her soulmate, this husky. His name was Okami. And then, so I went, of course, my natural build, like I would go back to my room and I'm like, I'm going to go work out. And all of a sudden, like a minute in, when I was working out, all of a sudden I felt this energy, actually felt his energy. And it was like, I pulled myself to the bed. I sat down, I threw on some Reiki music, and I just started like, I guess, holding this space. And it was like, I felt him. I felt all of us in this room with him on the table, and with my daughter and her husband and my grandson. And it was just like, I felt him, like he held this circle, this energy. And I cried and I released, but I just held this space, and I knew it was just like, it was so blissful feeling. It was just, I did it for about 20 minutes. And then when I felt done, I looked at my phone and my daughter said, he's gone. And it was just like this energy. And ever since that happened, now it's like, oh, all these miracle things happen, like things will show up, someone will say something, like you said, about little, like, a bird will show up, and then different things that remind me of him. And it's the last month, it just keeps, as you open up to these magical things, the universe, it's just like this, just keep expanding, you know. I just want to share that. That's why I was like looking at your wolf thing, and I was like, okay, that's a sign for me. It's like sharing that story with others.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody have any questions? There's some lovely comments in the chat for you to take a look at as well.
Thank you.
So going within, having the desire to expand into a deeper level of communication. And the willingness to surrender to however that presents itself. Okay, so if people want to work with you, what's the best way for them to reach you and play with you?
I have my website. You put the link in the right up, and I put a free channel there for another channel to listen to. I just, my website's new. I'm still working on it. I'm still being creative. Techie. I'm not a techie person, but I'm learning. You're helping me lots. Thank you so much. But yeah.
We still don't have the discount code. So if you go to her special offer, Jevona is offering a 50% discount on a private session. And in order to claim that, go to our website and use the discount code, which right now is XXTBD, XX. And so that's just a placeholder.
I honor it. So just tell me you saw me through this channel or through this summit, and I'd honor you. I'd be happy to.
Sure. And so hopefully she will get me that discount code sooner rather than later, and I'll add that to the list. But if she doesn't give me the discount code, again, I'll just, reword the language there to reach out to her, let her know that you came through CSVS, and you can kind of connect through that. And again, however you're listening to this conversation, have it be on YouTube or the podcast, there'll be a link with her website within the description of the session, as always.
So
anything else you would like to say?
Did you have fun?
I always have fun. Yeah, I always enjoy these conversations.
Good. I had fun.
Good. I'm glad. That's the important part. That's the important part, right?
I was just like, I totally just winged this. I was just like, should I write notes?
I tell people, if you want to write notes, do so, but when the time of the conversation goes, just put them aside.
It's nice to get to know you a little bit more too.
Yeah, appreciate that. Likewise.
Yeah.
So for those of you that have been with us, thank you again. Again, some lovely messages in the chat for you. And so thank you guys for being here with us, starting off the day. Coming up next is Chiara Prato, who's one of my practice group people, good friend of mine. She's been with us in the past, and so it's always exciting to have her back. And then after Chiara, there is me. So I'm finishing off the season this time. And so at the top of the hour, I will see you guys for Chiara's session. And then we will go from there. And I will leave you guys for now with being spirit, being human, simply being from love. Again, Jevona, thank you again for being here, and everybody else that's been joining us live. Thank you so much for your support. for your comments and the love that you're sharing. For those that are listening in the recording, you were here with us too, so you're not excluded. So thank you all for being here, and I will see you in about half an hour. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.